finally, as you can see where I am, I'm in the St Helens Cemetery, and I've been trying to locate a bit of my history of my family, and I found one of my relatives. His name was Joseph Brownbill. Joe scored the first try at St Helens Rugby Ground on the 1st of January 1890. He also played alongside his brother John Brownbill. Now John Brownbill, he died. Now rumour has it that John Brownbill died on the pitch at the age of 20. Now I don't know if that's a fact or not. So either way, Joe scored the first try at St Helens Rugby Ground, and John was apparently the first person to die on pitch, but I don't know how true that was. But I do know that Joe Brownbill did score the first try at St Helens Rugby Ground. And while we're out here, we've been looking for gravestone of Joe Brownbill. People used to say his headstone had a rugby ball on the top of it. Now we found it today. It doesn't have a rugby ball, or if it does, the headstone's gone now, or it's probably fell over or broken or whichever. But we now have found the headstone, and I'm about to show you.
Great granddad?
Yeah. Now this is Joe Brownbill's headstone. It's 5994 plot at the St Helens Cemetery. Now when I was at school, we had a teacher called Mr Service, Alex Service, as you all probably know him as the St Helens Heritage for the rugby club. Now I've been speaking to, well, not spoke to him, he's been emailing me, Mr Service, and he's told me where the plot is, and as well as his a couple of his friends has told me. Now Mr Service, when we was at school, it all come about when I was in a class, and a group of kids in a classroom, and I asked Mr Service who was the first person to score a try at St Helens Rugby Ground, and I said it was my grandad, and all the kids started laughing at me. But Mr Service said, what was his name? And I told Mr Service his name, and he put them all correct and said, he's correct, it is Joe Brownbill. So 37 years, 38 years, and I've been in touch with Mr Service, Alex Service. Don't like calling him that because obviously a bit of respect because he was my teacher. He's told me exactly where it is. So that is the headstone of Joe Brownbill, the first person to score a try at St Helens Rugby Ground on Knowsley Road. Plot 59, and the grave number is 94 for anybody who wants to look at it. Now we're going to try and find his brother, John Brownbill. Now John Brownbill, he was older than Joe, and like I said, the rumour is it that he died on the pitch, the first person to die on pitch. I don't know how true that is, but that's what we've always been told through our family. So first of all, we're going to go to my mum's grave, and I don't think Jan can make it any further. We're heading to that church. Now Alex Service, as this gentleman's just said to me, is well known for his books, whatever you want to call them. And he said he's got a couple of them at home, because I've mentioned that Alex has helped me to locate this grave after 37 years. I've not been in contact with him, or I found Alex by going to the St Helens Rugby League Heritage I emailed the club, and the club got me in contact with him. So we've a bit of a history lesson today. Isn't it good when you can teach the old ones new tricks?
In the graveyard. Show the graveyard, how big it is.
This is how big the graveyard is in St Helens Cemetery.
I've walked 6 miles round it. Oh, look here, look.
All here. And a little squirrel here on the floor. Not bothered. They're not bothered, Jan. They just come here. They're used to it. Nobody bothers them. I've not been here for bloody hell, 20 years. Now, this is one of my uncles, and 3 of my uncles. So I'm just going to show you a few of my uncles, which basically would have been Joe Brownbill would have been the granddad. My Uncle Arthur, aged 67, my Uncle Les, and my Auntie Rita, which was my Uncle Arthur's wife, aged 88. And Jan's watching this squirrel jumping up and down on a branch. There you go, he's on. And he's off. On, off. So we've just been talking to a couple, well, a couple of couples, and he's quite shocked about the history. I've taught him a bit more history. So yeah, I think I've made the day. They said they're going to subscribe now, so that'll do me.
Got a subscriber in a graveyard.
Yeah, subscriber in a graveyard. But with Alex Service, have a good look at Alex Service. He's the historian for St Helens Rugby, and he's got a book out which is in Wainwright at the minute. So hopefully I'm going to get down and see if I can pick one up. This is another member of my family, obviously, Brownbill. This is my mum. We never called her mum, we always called her mam. That's my mum. In loving memory of Edna Preston, nee Brownbill, wife of the late David James Henry Preston. This is just to show you that we are related to Joe Brownbill, the rugby player. That is my mum. That's my mum's grave. Age 69, died in 1998. There's not many Brownbills still going. It's a shame. It's a very shame. So, I'll recap over what we've been on about. When I was at school, like I say, I had a school teacher, and in this lesson he was well known for his rugby, loved his rugby, and the school was called Grange Park High School. It looked a bit more like Grange Park, Grange Hill. Looked more like Grange Hill. Now, this teacher, when you used to have lessons with him, we always found it interesting. I don't think anybody never ever found his lessons not interesting. Now, in the lesson what we had, I was sat at the side of Paul Haggerty, which was Roy's brother, and we had a few other kids in class, and I just put my hand up and said who scored the first try at St Helens Rugby Ground, and I said it was my grandad, and the kids was laughing in the classroom, and Alex, Service, Mr. Service, said what was his name, Darren, and I told him the name, Joe Brownbill, and he said you're correct. And after that we had a conversation, and I tried to get Mr. Service some photographs of the history of Joe Brownbill, but my cousin Andrew, he took him to Cowley High School, and they'd had all the photographs and the history of what we had of Joe Brownbill. So these last few days I've contacted the Saints historian, Saints Rugby Club, to try and get hold of Mr. Service, because obviously that's, I know he does a lot for the historian side of the rugby club, and Mr. Service has got in touch with me and give me the plot number for Joe, and he's also helped me, and he said if I need any more help he will help me with it. Mr. Service does quite a bit of history of the rugby club, and he's got quite a few books out. Now he has got a new one out now, and all this book what he's got out now, it's at Wainwright in Boundary Road, and the money what they earn off it is helping the historian society, or the historian at the St Helens Rugby Club. Now I've just been speaking to a gentleman, and he says he's got quite a few books of Alex Services, so go and have a look at that book, see what you think of it. I'm going to get one. So we're trying to find now John Brownbill's. Now I've got a map on my phone, and we're looking for, we'll tell you now. Right, this is the love heart shape, and 11 is here. And I'll put a picture of this, of how the cemetery is. So we're now looking for number 781, which is John Brownbill's. Now hopefully we get a little bit of success trying to find it. Look at this graveyard, it's well maintained, it's well looked after. There's a lot of history here. There's going to be, isn't there? 781. This 11.
Well, it's 79, that way down there.
To be honest, I don't think we're going to find this one today. I don't think we're going to find it. This is the World War Memorial. It's okay looking at a map, but when you're on the ground of it, it's not the same as like a road map. I finally found the headstone of Joe's brother, John Brownbill. So what I'm going to do is just going to give you a quick show of this, and it's plot 11179. I'll put it up here if I'm wrong with it, but this is the headstone of it. Golden hands, the handshake. As a mark of the esteem by the members of the Friends of the St Helens Football Club, John Brownbill, who died 15th of October 1890, aged only 20 years old. He died of typhoid. Now obviously I don't know if we was always told as kids that he died on the pitch, but I couldn't tell you if it was true or not. All I know is that obviously there's proof that Joe Brownbill scored the first try at St Helens Rugby Ground on Knowsley Road. Now Henry Brownbill, John Brownbill. Now the coincidences are that Henry Brownbill was my uncle, and we've got a few John Brownbills in the family. I don't think we've got a Joe Brownbill in the family. I don't honestly think that. But I think the youngest Brownbill now is my cousin John, who died over 12 months ago now, is the Ross Brownbill. So there's only probably him who's going to keep the Brownbill name going. One of them, we've done a bit of history today, a bit of lesson, been walking around the cemetery, and we've found Joe Brownbill, we found my mum's, my auntie Rita, my Uncle Arthur's, and there was 8 in my mum's family, 4 brothers and 4 sisters. My auntie Vera, my auntie Irene, Edna Brownbill and Rita Brownbill. And then there was my Uncle Len, my Uncle Arthur, my Uncle Les and my Uncle Jack. My mum had 5 lads. She's going. We're Preston. It'll be the fella's side. We've got our Ken, our Derek, our Dennis Brownbills. They're keeping the name going. And then there's our John's son Ross Brownbill. So he's keeping it going. But I think he's the youngest of the Brownbills. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know. I think that our Ken and Derek and Dennis, they've all got daughters. I'm probably wrong over it. But windows on my past. Please like, share and subscribe and support the St Helens heritage. Thanks Alex Service as well for all your help, and Dave for getting in touch with me and letting me know the plot number, and I did manage to find it, so I do appreciate it. And in Wainwright's shop in Boundary Road, Alex Service has got a new book out now helping the St Helens Rugby heritage. I'm here at Boundary Road opposite Queen's Park Health and Fitness, and I'm going in picking up the book what Mr. Service, Alex Service, has sent me to. So it's from Wainwright. So I've just got to put my mask on before I go in, and this is what I'm going paying for my book. Right, this kind gentleman, he will be selling it to you. Thank you very much.
You probably have heard and have read about it, that when they were a Pilkington's Works team, before your grandad,
Yeah.
they played the first ever game in the park.
Did they? Right. So there's a bit more history for you. So I'm just going to get my book, and that's where it is, on the top. There you go.
Sir.
Thank you very much. Alright, cheers, thank you. So, I've got it. I've got the book. It's called Nomads and Ruffians. So there, Mr. Service, I've bought it. Nomads and Ruffians. So, it's back to Nottingham now, where I live. So this is St Helens, Boundary Road, Wainwright's shop. Go into the shop, we've just seen the gentleman now, and it's Nomads and Ruffians. So see you all soon. Bye for now.